Hey guys, Recovery Jimmy here. Um, sober seasons, sober season, winter season. It's getting traction. I'm getting quite a number of people contacting me who are interested in doing from 21st of December to 21st of March. It's the whole season. It's my reason in this is not because I have a problem with dry January. I just don't think it's long enough. Dry January is like 31 days. And to get the full benefits, health benefits, monetary benefits, but mainly the health benefits, to feeling good skin, good, all of these things is better mental health. You need to do like 90 days to 100 days. 30 days is great, of course it is, but you will reap the benefits if you do longer than that. Now, the winter solstice is the 21st. That's when winter starts officially. So that's why I'm choosing the 21st of December. Now, I know a lot of people will be like, oh my God, what am I going to do about Christmas? That's cool. That's cool. I don't mind people joining on the 1st of December, but I know the hardcore will do it from the 21st. Now, I'm not saying that anyone that's joining has to have a problem with alcohol or, is really struggling. Those people, of course, are welcome. But anyone that just wants like a difference, like a change in life and, a better way of living, then join in, and it's not going to be any issues if people slip up and, you drink a day or whatever. It's like, do you know what? Like, unless you go out on an almighty bender for 3 weeks, then, you've failed. But little slips here and there, as long as you can maintain, like, mostly sobriety, and I'm not saying like, oh, just at the weekends or whatever. I'm saying, if you have the odd slip in 3 months, that's fine. But you want to be kind of consistently sober for 90 days, starting 21st of December or 1st of January. But that being said, obviously a lot of people that follow my account on Recovery Jimmy, they're sober anyway, like myself. I'm not like drinking at the moment and I'm going to stop on the 21st of December. I've got over 3 years under my belt. So people that are sober and obviously going to continue being sober, like, join in the discussions, I'm setting up a little group and join in discussions, like encourage people, help with your experience. Me, myself, I've got a few things in the pipeline that I want to kind of, start doing. So I'm going to use those 3 months to kind of continue on with that or start that. Almost like a kind of, what do you do? New Year's resolution. So it's going to be like kind of one of those things, rather than just starting it in January, on the 1st of January, and then failing by the 10th. I want to really kind of try and get into some new aspects of my life and do that for 3 months. So people that are already sober, continuing to stay sober, well done on that. But like, join in and it doesn't mean that you have to be drinking before the 21st. You can just continue your sobriety through these 3 months. Help the people that are just doing it for the first time or want a different way of life, because our experience is paramount to them. So that's kind of what I really want to try and push. And you know what? I've created a little logo for it. I might even get some little sobriety chips made up for the people that that make it through the full 3 months. And do you know what? If it works, let's continue on and do sober spring, sober summer, sober autumn. This is where we can kind of break it down, rather than just doing like dry January, sober October. Let's try and show people by experience that doing it for the 90 days is really where it's at. And then you're going to come back and you're going to go, wow, do you know what? Like my thought clarity, my mental health, my personal physical health, all of these things, not feeling tired, lethargic, you're going to reap the benefits, man. And there's not a single sober person that I know that has regretted getting sober, or they're miserable being sober, or they've just gone, oh my God, I can't wait until I can just get over this and then start drinking again. Because that's the problem with dry January. It's only a month. Don't really notice any difference. A lot of people do, of course they do, but by the time it gets to the 1st of February, they cannot wait to get back out and get boozed up again. And that's the problem. Like, I think by the end of 3 months, a lot of people are like, why have I been drinking all this time, you know? And that's to say, not saying that you can't, by the time you've done the 3 months, go back out and go to a party or a night out. But if you're wanting to do this 3 month thing, then you're probably thinking, maybe I do drink a bit too much. So let's try and curb that by knocking it on the head for 3 months and just see where you're at. Just see where you're at. Not like saying you have to give up forever or whatever. But I think a lot of people will change their mind on their drinking behaviours after they've done the 3 months. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. You know, it's just speaking to someone this afternoon just about alcohol. You know, the big alcohol firms, they regulate themselves. I may have spoken about this before, but I think that's utterly disgusting. Like, how can a company that peddles poison, that actually is more, you know, it's alcohol is actually, it kills more people, 10 to 15 times more people than all the other drugs combined, you know, the illegal drugs. So how can a government stand by and let these companies that basically self-regulate, so no one's saying to them, well, you need to maybe curb your glamorizing and your adverts and all that? No. And they also spending at this point, I think it's about 6 billion just on advertising in this country alone. That's not like raw materials or, you know, how the brewing process or anything. It's just purely on advertising. In the UK, 6 billion so far this year. I think it was something like 5.2 during COVID, but they've ramped it back up because they're like, woohoo, people can get back out and drink again, you know. So £6 billion this year on advertising, basically trying to lure you in to buy their poison. Just let that settle for a little minute and think about that, because it's absolutely disgusting. I mean, I'm kind of smiling because it baffles me that I didn't know this. I didn't know a lot of things when I was a drinker. I didn't know the amount of diseases that can be caused by it. You know, cancers, pancreatitis, pancreatic cancer, you know, Korsakoff's, which is like wet brain dementia caused by alcohol. You know, so many things, and that's not even starting on the mental health problems that it causes. The fact that when you drink it, you cannot drive a car, you can't walk in a straight line, you become really boring and you repeat yourself. You know, all of these things is like, why is this a good thing? You know, I mean, I you know, I know a lot of people go out and they can have a few drinks and leave it and go home, but I think that those are few and far between now. You know, I think a lot of people drink because it gets them pissed and they enjoy that feeling until the next day. I did. Well, why else would you drink? Do you know what I mean? If you're only going to have a glass of wine or two, what are you really getting from that? As in, like, why would you, like, you might as well drink, you know, fruit juice or something, because you're not getting pissed, you're not getting the absolute effects of alcohol. You know, it's like someone doesn't go out and take an ecstasy tablet but just take a little slither off the side. They take the full thing because they want to get the full effect. So I you know, yeah, I hate alcohol. You know, there it is. That plain and simple. I don't have any issue with going out with people that are drinking until they get boring and then I go home. But I'm not trying to say you must stop drinking and you need to, I'm not going to start walking into bars and pouring drinks down the sink, because that's just ridiculous. But I want to try and raise awareness of just how bad alcohol is for people, because I didn't know. And if I'd known, I probably wouldn't have made a difference, because I was in the depths of addiction. And that is the thing, you know, it is an addictive drug. So when you try and tell people that if you were to try and tell me that, you know, it had all the dangers and the health dangers and this, that and the other, I wouldn't have listened, because I was in the grips of it. And that's the thing. That's what these, like, basically massive alcohol companies are doing. They're like basically like you know, a crack dealer going into a schoolyard and just throwing it out for free to begin with. I remember when I used to go to pubs, I don't know how much it still goes on now, but you used to get like the Red Bull girls coming in all scantily dressed, and they would just be walking around the bar like handing out free vodka Red Bulls and stuff. And it is like, you know, of course Red Bull's addictive, you know, the vodka's addictive, it's alcohol, so you'd be like, oh, that's a really nice drink. And yeah, it did taste nice, but you know, it gave you this mad buzz as well because of the you know, the Red Bull, the caffeine in the Red Bull. So it was like, it was a winner. And you know, it wasn't just vodka Red Bull girls, there was all sorts going around. There was like your Goldschlager or your Aftershock and all that, just giving them out free because they knew that then you'd go back to the bar, be like, what was that? I really liked that, the buzz I got off of it. And then that was like your new favorite drink every time you went out. And it's, you know, it's just pure marketing and advertising. Basically drug dealers allowing themselves to advertise on TV, on billboards still. You know, like, to me now there's not really much difference between, you know, tobacco firms and alcohol firms. So like the fact that tobacco is pretty much outlawed and you can't, you know, you're not allowed to, I don't think you're really allowed to smoke in any TV programs anymore unless it works with the storyline. But you know, you go and look at like all the soaps, they're all based around pubs, they're all drinking in it, and it's like, oh, you know, we're finished for the day or whatever, let's get down to Queen Vic and, you know, whatever. But it's so people watch these soaps and they look up to these people and they're like, oh yeah, you know, oh, I quite fancy drinks, glamorizing it, making it look like it's cool. And they used to do that with cigarettes. And that was just outlawed. You know, that it took a long time, but you know, they still advertised without people in the adverts. So Silk Cut really had these clever, crafty adverts where, you know, there was no people in it, but you looked at it and went, oh, they've done really well with the silk and the cut. You know, scissors going through a bit of silk, and anyway, they were really clever with it. But then eventually they had to outlaw that as well. So there's no tobacco advertising anywhere in this country, but alcohol's still massive. You know, glamorizing going on a beach in Ibiza, scantily clad people again because sex sells, and just, you know, basically enticing people. You live in a, you know, a little 1-bedroom flat in you know, wherever, and your life's miserable, you've had a really shit day at work. Well, I want to feel like those people feel, so I'm just going to go and get myself some Bacardi or some cheap ass wine, and then I'm going to have one bottle. Oh, do you know what, I really fancy a little nightcap before I go to bed, so I'll open that second bottle. Before you know it, it's 3 bottles. That was me all over. And then it was 3 bottles a night. So it ramps up, and you know, there's lots of talk about it being, is it in your DNA, is it hereditary, you know, whatever. I don't know about those things, but what I do know is it's accumulative. And for me, it was definitely accumulative. I wasn't an alcoholic when I was, you know, 14, but the more I drank, the more it became an issue for me. And then there's obviously this tipping point, I guess, where you accumulate it so much, and then I slipped over, and that was it. It was, you know, I needed it all the time. I don't know when that was. It happened a long time ago. But I used to try and rein it in, and then it would get worse. So it was almost like pulling back on an elastic band, on a rubber band, and I would stop drinking. But when I stopped drinking, I was pulling this band back, and when I did slip, it was released, and I was just way back to where I was, and then some. You know, it was that kind of trajectory. The band, I guess, is still a little bit taut because, you know, I do know that I wouldn't say it's pulled way back because I don't feel the band anymore. I don't feel the grip of that band, but I know that if I was to go out and have a drink today, it really wouldn't take me long to get back into where I was, because the addiction, I guess, never leaves you. You know, okay, it might not happen. I might not go back to where I was, but if there's a chance that it would take me back to where I was, then why would I want to have a glass of wine or a beer or, you know, a little Baileys at Christmas? Because my mind would trigger where I was before, and I would then suddenly want the vodka because that would give me the quicker hit that I used to get, and before I knew it, I'd be swigging the bottle straight and then needing another bottle. That's how it works with me. That's how it works with a lot of people I know. So we just don't bother. We don't bother drinking anymore because we know where it took us, and where it took us is really not a nice place. But for me, it wasn't finished. You know, I hadn't got to the end, and I'm glad I didn't get to the end because the end is not a pretty place. I've heard stories, I've seen films, I've watched documentaries of people in hospital at the end of alcohol consumption with alcoholism, and it's probably one of the most horrible ways to die. Hearing it from family members, they've said this is something that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, and that's, do you know what I mean? That's not what you want, and that is caused just by alcohol. So let's try and raise awareness and push people for a better way of life. Do you know what I mean? Not push them because they've got to do it themselves, but push awareness into showing people that alcohol is not the answer for having a good day, having a bad day, you know, arguments at home, or you know, you've finished a marathon. You know, when I used to run marathons and half marathons, that was the first thing I would do, is have a pint at the end, and then, oh, celebration, yeah, I've done really well, so I'm gonna drink till you know, I'm just gonna take it easy tonight. But I could never take it easy, so I'd end up getting absolutely shit-faced and then feeling like crap. You know, I've just pushed my body to like its absolute limit to run these races, and then I'm just absolutely pouring poison into it to celebrate what I've done. Madness, absolute mad. And that's the thing. It is insanity. It's pure insanity. So yeah, sorry for the little rant, but I think things need to be changed in the alcohol world, because cigarettes, you can't see them. There's all the warnings and things on the packets, you know, the pictures, the horrors. That needs to go on it. People need to be educated. I'm not talking about adults now, because I'm not saying it's too late for them, but we need to start educating children, telling them that it's not just something that, you know, mummy and daddy do because they're stressed or they're having a good time. They need to know that this is actually just really, really, really bad for you. You know, and I'm not even going to get into, like, you know, the aggro that it causes, the fights, the just upset. You know, any argument that you see in a pub on a Friday, Saturday night is definitely being caused by alcohol. Those same 2 people or 4 people or 20 people wouldn't probably be fighting as bad if there wasn't alcohol thrown into the mix. So there's just so many things that they're negative that come from it, and I honestly now cannot think of a single positive that comes from alcohol. If people can think of them, then please message me and or comment and tell me what positive aspects come from alcohol, because I can't think of any. I really can't. Anyway, that's me for today. Sun's going down now. Don't know, you saw me blasted on my face there. It's beautiful today, but you know, that's autumn and winter for you. So I'm sure it'll be chucking it down tomorrow. But I love being outside. I think I might have said it before. I used to work in offices, and I think a lot of that had, you know, my drinking had a lot to do with being unfulfilled in my life. I don't mind going out and getting absolutely soaked, but at least I know I'm working hard, I'm earning for myself, and you know, I'm doing something. I'm not just doing data entry for some mass big company that whatever I do, it doesn't really matter. It's sorry, get cut off there. Apparently I've run out of storage, so I'll try and tape this on to the end. So yeah, thanks for listening. Stay safe, stay strong, stay supportive, and stay sober. And yeah, check out my Instagram Recovery Jimmy page, and message me and I'll add you to the group if you're up for doing the sober season. So yeah, have a great week and see you soon, guys. Peace.